What is up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's edition of the Sportsgasm Podcast, the podcast by fans for fans. I'm your host, Kylee, and here with me is my co-host, Isaac.
Yeet yeet.
And it's only right that our first live, yes, you heard that right, live and first ever sponsored podcast is fitting for our very first guest ever. So welcome, Calvin.
How you guys doing? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you, my dude?
Doing good, man. Thank you guys for having me again. I appreciate it.
It only makes sense to have the very first guest we ever had on the podcast to be the very first guest on a new era of the Sportsgasm podcast.
Hey, well, I'm very honored, and like I said to you guys before, congratulations and congratulations again.
Appreciate that, man, as always. But like we said, this is sponsored. So we have our sponsors ticking down below, behind us, behind me. Check them all out. They are fantastic peoples over there. We do have a couple promo codes for you guys. That's because we like to help you guys out. Use promo code OCS at bodycheckwellness.com for 25% off your hemp-derived CBD oils and edibles for you as well as your furry friends at home. And then we have another one for you. Use promo code OCS as well at norsebeards.com for 25% off your Beards Men products.
If you're trying to grow out a luscious playoff beard like I am because your team is still alive in the Stanley Cup playoffs, then you got to go check out the products at www.norsebeards.com. As Kylie said, use promo code OCS at checkout for 25% off your Beardsman products. We got to thank these sponsors for being with us, and we got to thank the Old City Sports Network, who we have officially joined as a partner show on as of this week. That's why we got sponsored. That's why we have all of this. We're able to go live. That's why we all of a sudden look all high tech and not just two people recording off of Zoom and then publishing it the next day. We don't have to do that anymore.
No, we do not.
It's so much fun.
We appreciate all of you, and like we said, it's only fitting that Calvin comes on first. So with that being said, let's get into this insane week of sports and starting off with the MLB. So
as usual.
Yep. And as crazy as it is, we had our first snow out in May, though.
Yeah. So the Rockies and I believe the Mets.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the Mets. They had a game canceled due to snow, which didn't really make sense, especially for us here on the East Coast because it was upwards of the high 90s last weekend.
Yes, it was.
I mean, the fact that it took us nearly 2 months into the season for a snow delay, it's only in Colorado. Really, only in Colorado is the only place that can happen. That was pretty much some lighthearted fun to get things started because the first main thing we're talking about from baseball this week isn't really lighthearted, but we do need to talk about it.
Yeah.
The Tim Anderson and Josh Donaldson incident. So as a Yankees fan, I think I need to take the lead on this one. Josh Donaldson of the Yankees allegedly called Tim Anderson Jackie, as in Jackie Robinson. He was suspended for 1 game as a result of this, and yeah, that's. Oh, just got a new comment. Thank you, Old City Sports Network, for letting us know.
We love you guys
for shouting us out. Yeah. So this situation with Tim Anderson and Josh Donaldson, there's not much to say on it other than, come on, man. I understand that the Yankees and the White Sox right now, they've kind of been going at it. Their last 2 series have been really chippy between both teams. They had an incident in the last one of the last games where they cleared the benches. It wasn't a brawl, unfortunately. It would have been nice to see one, but things got pretty heated, and this is not helping things at all. And frankly, it's pretty damn racist. Like, what the hell, Josh? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't look too into it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I saw it coming across like the Instagram feed, Twitter feed, and when I first saw it, I was just like, I wonder why he said it. And then when it came out on his, when he had that interview after the game on why he said it, and he said it before and this, that, and the third, I was like, all right, well, I don't know the history between these guys, but as you said, Isaac, it's just play the game, man. There's no reason to say that, and it pretty racist.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. I think that's the clearest thing to say about it. And again, like I'll reiterate, the Yankees and the White Sox, they've been getting chippy with each other. They both know that they're both teams that are probably going to be competing for playoff spots. Well, the Yankees know that. The White Sox,
Yeah.
that division's a lot more. They have company in that division now.
They do. They do.
But again, it's just basic stuff here. Josh Donaldson should know better. You just don't say that shit.
Yeah.
You don't.
You just don't do that. And
You should know better at this point. This day and age,
yeah,
it just doesn't make sense. But it's he got suspended for one game, but he's in COVID protocol right now. So
yeah.
I don't know what is going to happen with that. Is he going to get an extra game? I don't know. Right now.
I think it's just one game for now. I can check. But again, I mean, there's really not much else to say on it other than,
No.
come on, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it should be on that the ESPN segment. The come on, man.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. But let's go on to some more. What?
One last thing. This is not the first time this has happened.
No, it's not actually.
Yeah, I did. I was looking to see if there's been any updates on the situation. Yeah, Josh Donaldson did the same thing to Tim Anderson in 2019. So
Yeah.
yeah,
There are no similarities in their game aside from one thing. So, and we know what that one thing is.
Yeah, exactly.
Well then,
So,
that's disappointing. I was really high on Josh these first 2 months of the season. Now it's like, come on, man.
yeah. Hopefully he gets his shit together. But let's go into some more lighthearted stuff for once.
Yeah.
So we got Adley Rushman finally being called up to the show, and his first hit is a triple.
I was extremely happy to see this because having gone to a couple Orioles games, the Orioles catching staff is atrocious.
Atrocious.
Like their catchers are horrible.
Yeah.
And it was time. We're gonna let him sit in the minors for much longer. He's done pretty well so far. The Orioles, they've been playing well with him. They looked surprisingly pretty. They looked good against Tampa. They had this really long, drawn out game that went into extra innings and was delayed multiple times because of the big storms we've been having here in Maryland that just drug this game out against Tampa. And Rutschman ended up scoring the winning run there. So, the team feels that it looks like the team has gotten a boost of energy from him joining.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great to see. As a Yankees fan, it makes me a little nervous because there's one team that the Yankees cannot put away in the American League, and that is the Orioles. No matter what happens, we always play down to the Orioles. And last night, they took us to 11 innings. We did pull out the win, but why is it this one team we just can't beat normally? Why do we always have to struggle against them? And now they've got this young superstar who, he's still trying to find his rhythm, but he's actually, looking surprisingly good when he actually makes contact with the ball, which is given the Orioles a massive boost of energy. It's like
not only was it a triple for his first hit, it was a stand-up triple.
Yep. And I was actually just talking to somebody last night, and I was saying since the Young Cats came onto the team, the Orioles have been very fun to watch.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Orioles are fun to watch. It's just they're not good, but
yeah,
it's better than being a bad team that's bad to watch.
Right, exactly.
Like the Reds, who, by the way, have now won over 10 games. So we
finally, yay!
Yeah, they did it. They did it.
But so speaking of not great teams, and my take not looking so hot right now, we have Pujols homering twice and Molina making his pitching debut as the Cardinals murder the Pirates 18-4.
It was surreal seeing Yadier Molina pitch. I just want to point out that it was 18-0.
Yes.
Yep.
And then before Molina started pitching,
they scored 4 in the 9th inning, I believe.
Yeah, and I think that was because Molina let in 4 runs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's expected. It's expected, but
this is one of the things you love about baseball, when things like that happen. Not when it's against your team, but when like your team isn't involved or your team's the one that's doing it.
No,
But at the same time, though, like it's also something that you can only really do every so often.
Yeah.
I'm vividly reminded of the time back in the 90s that Jose Canseco got sent out to pitch while playing for the Rangers and tore his arm. Just had to have surgery because he completely screwed up his arm. They thought, oh, let's have Jose Canseco pitch. Nothing bad could happen. Something bad happened.
Yep.
Yes.
So, but I'm glad nothing bad happened in this case.
That was a very fun game to watch, though. I actually had a bet on that game, and I had the Cardinals winning that game. So early, it's like 6-0, and I was like, these boys might put up 20 today. And then it got
near it.
11-0, and I was like, oh yeah, this one's wrapped up.
The Pirates this year have just been bleeding runs.
Yeah.
And speaking of bleeding runs, they're currently playing the Rockies. It's the bottom of the second, and they're already down 3-0.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh man.
Gotta love baseball. More home runs happen as Trevor Story hits 3 home runs with the Red Sox as they beat the Mariners 12-6.
Very I'm sad that the Mariners once again look like it's going to be another year without the playoffs for them.
Yeah.
But at least the Red Sox are finally starting to do something.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, they're not dead in the last in the division anymore.
The Red Sox looked very hot last night too.
They did. They did. Trevor Story has been on a tear lately.
Yeah.
It's been fun to watch. He's hit a lot of home runs the past week.
He's hit a lot of long shots, and I hope there's a lot of guys in the sports betting world who have been putting a home run on him.
When we have new people here, so in case you didn't know, Calvin is our sports betting genius. He definitely, when he comes on, we talk about sports betting because we need some way to make money.
And I don't sports bet, so I'm no help here. So
I actually won $50 off a bet on Saturday.
nice.
I had a 5-leg parlay, and that they all hit. And I was at the game when the final thing hit, so it was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, I remember that day. You told me that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Trey
Some
Turner.
good stuff.
I had Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, and 3 other players hitting, and Bryce Harper hit in like the first or third inning, and then so I just needed Trey Turner, and he hit it, but I didn't want to cheer because, I didn't want to root against my team, but I won $50, so I was like, whatever. Another player hits 3 home runs. Rojas, as the Diamondbacks beat the Cubs.
I actually didn't catch that, so wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget what the score was, but yeah.
3 home runs. There's a lot of guys just hit the ball crazy this year.
Except the Phillies. Phillies aren't doing that.
Aaron Judge is one of those guys too, man. Aaron Judge has
been going off. I was at the Orioles-Yankees game last week, and he hit one right in front of us. He should have had 3. He had 2. Should have had 3. First at bat, he almost went yard. That was
the game that he went 4 for 5, I think, correct?
Yeah.
I think so.
Smoking.
Yeah. And that game felt like a loss because they nearly blew it at the end. But
yep,
that's how it be.
You don't know a blown lead until you've been to Phillies games, dude. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, true. True.
Speaking of blowing leads, Odor has back-to-back walk-offs for the Orioles. First 2 games, Rushman's in the on the team.
Have you ever seen Roughneck Odor in real life? Have you ever seen him in person?
I have not seen him play live.
He's like that tall. He's tiny. He was talking to Aaron Judge before the game I was at, and it looked like Judge was talking to a toddler. Like, this dude is small. Like, we can make all the jokes we want about Jose Altuve and how short he is. No, you don't get to make those jokes when you look at Roughneck Odor. That man is short, but he's a short king because he's getting stuff done for the Orioles.
Yeah, definitely.
So I respect it.
I think he's on a 1-year deal, but he's been doing well for the Orioles.
He has. I had him on a
good happening for him.
Had him on a hit parlay the other day. He came through for me.
Nice.
Good stuff.
One team that didn't come through for you, Calvin, is the Mets losing to the Rockies 11-3.
Oh,
that one hurt me that day. I think that was the day after we had just beat them too. So
yeah,
Yeah. But other than the Rockies beating the Mets 11-3 here, I think I was on the podcast maybe about a month ago, month and a half at this point. It was right before baseball season started, and I said Mets to the World Series. Right now, Isaac said the Mets are very funny. They either start the season very hot and then they end like crap, or they start the season like crap and they end very hot. So right now they started on the hot side. We're gonna see where it stays at after the All-Star break and stuff like that. But I'm still sticking with my take. The Mets World Series look very good right now.
I right now at 2 months into the season, I'm leaning more towards Yankees Dodgers.
I like it.
But honestly, I could see the Padres or the Mets sneaking in there too. Honestly, I don't think anyone's going to beat the Yankees in the AL. The only team that has a chance is Houston, and I can't deal with Houston being.
Can't root for Houston.
I
Absolutely
can't.
not.
Yeah.
No.
But Yankees Dodgers is looking like the World Series right
I know
now.
why you say Dodgers, but the Mets have shown that they can play with any team right now.
That's true, and we'll talk about the Mets in a sec because they did something last night. They and the Giants last night did a thing that we'll talk about in a sec.
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that game. Kylie, some more stuff going on around the league. Let's talk about the Phillies.
All right. So yeah. So it's not a fun time. But the Phillies are playing the Dodgers this past weekend, and I went to the game Saturday where it was hot as hell. But it wasn't too bad because of the wind, but it was still like in the 90s. They lost, but the next game, the Dodgers second baseman Max Muncy pulls a Philadelphia Philly, and he has an error at second base. And Roman Quinn has phenomenal speed, so he runs from second base to home as Max Muncy bobbles the ball and throws it to first. Like, he doesn't throw it to first. He throws it home to try to get the out. But you have any idea how fast you have to go from second to home when the ball's only hit to second base and you're safe?
You have to have very, very, very crazy speed. I wonder what his 40 time is.
It's got to be something crazy, dude.
Who's 40 time? I can look that up for you.
Roman Quinn. I don't know if he does
Roman
does
Quinn,
40.
40 time. Let's find out. Well, it says that during the 2020 season, they timed his speed and figured out he runs 30.4 feet per second. He's capable of, in sprint speed. His 60-yard dash time. They do a 60-yard dash instead of
40.
Yeah, instead of 40. His 60-yard dash was 6.57 seconds.
Oh my god!
So
that's his 60-yard dash time.
Pretty fast.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I guess if somebody here is good at math, they can probably calculate what his 40 time would be based off that. Kylie, you're still in school. You take math classes. Can you calculate? What his 40-yard dash would be?
I am done my math class. Math does not exist for me right now.
You could.
Probably could, but I'm not going to. I'm going to enjoy my last week before summer classes.
There you go.
Moving on to another crazy game. Manny Machado, my early candidate for MVP, has he helps the Padres sweep the Giants with 3 doubles and a triple.
Good.
This dude not only is leading the league in batting average, but he's going crazy.
Hot.
Go ahead, Calvin.
Machado has been very, very, very hot. And the thing about Machado is he's consistent. Like,
yes,
you see guys where they Aaron Judge kills me with this. He'll come out and hit 4 for 5. The next night he'll go 0 for 4.
Man, don't remind me. You're right.
He'll come out and go 4 for 5. The next night he's not going 0 for 4, but he gets you 2 hits, and those 2 hits will be very important hits. Or he'll get you 1 hit that's the most important hit in the whole entire game. So Manny Machado is very consistent. You can't complain about Manny Machado. I like that early MVP lock.
And
Absolutely.
it's nice to see a former Oriole have success. So good for him.
Well, Orioles players, when they leave the Orioles, typically have a lot of success.
They do.
Usually, how it works in NFL, when people leave Washington, they turn into crazy animals.
Right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah, they
too.
do.
Hey,
They
speaking
do.
of Washington, Calvin, I got my Wentz shirt on.
I love it.
It's so weird. Football, the NFL season hasn't started, and we're all wearing football jerseys. Go Bucks!
Hey, listen, I only have this jersey because I love the what were these jerseys called?
The Color Rush.
Color Rush. I love the color rush.
Yeah,
Odell was big back then at that time, so I got this jersey. But so everybody knows, I am a Washington Commanders fan, diehard.
got it. Again, if anybody who is just tuning in, here we are live on the Sportsgasm podcast for the first ever live episode, and we are joined as always by myself, Kylee, and our special guest Calvin, our sports betting expert. So that's if anybody is just tuning in. Couple more things we got to talk about in the world of baseball. I'm actually going to change the order here on this one because the next two go together better. Last night, the Red Sox and the White Sox had a sock party, and the Red Sox took it a bit too far.
Yes.
Yeah. Trevor Story and
Vasquez.
Christian Vasquez, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I got a blank on his name. That's weird. Trevor Story and Christian Vasquez both had 3-run home runs as the Red Sox won the sock fight 16-3. That's the type of sock fight that you tell your friends, "Hey, man, you're taking it too far.
That game,
go ahead.
that game there was absolutely crazy because when it first started, and I have a lot of friends that like to bet too. Kylie knows this, and we put a lot of stuff together. And a lot of saying yesterday, they were like, "Guys, I like the under in this game. I like under 8.5." So a lot of them took the under 8.5, and it was like 6-0 in the second inning. I was just like, man, this is crazy. These guys' bats are just clicking today.
And as much as it pains me to say this, it's good to see the Red Sox recovering because they were in a bit of a slide for a bit there. They had a game against the Astros last week where they got massacred almost as bad. So I guess it's nice to see that the Red Sox are sort of getting back in the groove of things. Blah. I just want to point out the Yankees have now faced the Orioles in 4 different separate series, and we've only played the Red Sox once all year. I'm dreading when we have to play them again.
I was honestly going to say, Isaac, that's another team that you guys have to worry about. Not only can you guys never close out the Orioles, but the Red Sox always find a way to sneak you guys somehow.
Yeah.
And
it's frustrating.
It really is
frustrating. Let's talk about the Mets-Giants series going on right now. So the Mets looked good at first. 18 hits and a 13-3 win over the Giants. Pretty good right there. That's pretty damn good. And then last night, we had what MLB.com called the game of the year so far. The Giants and the Mets final score 13-12. So
the Mets were down 7-2 at a point, 7-3.
Yeah, they know how to come back from that score.
The Mets were down 8-2.
Mm-hmm.
Came back, tied things up at 11-all. Tied things up at 12-all. They actually took a 12-11 lead in the top of the ninth, but in the bottom of the ninth,
they gave
the Giants. Yeah, the Giants came back. Absolutely wild game. And they play again. By the way, they play again later today when we finish up this live stream. They play again at 3:45. So if you're looking for some afternoon baseball between two teams that are battling for the top of their league, Giants and Mets, 3:45 p.m. Go check it out.
That is a perfect segue into our standings updates. Yes. So we have in the American League with the East, we have the Yankees at number 1, of course. The Tampa Bay Rays 4.5 games behind.
Okay.
Looking good, but not at the same level as the Yankees.
Yeah. You got the Blue Jays 7 games back.
They've honestly been a bit of a disappointment.
Vlad
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
too. He's on a cold streak.
Who is?
Vlad Guerrero.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is. The Red Sox are 9.5 games back from first. They're getting better.
Not the
So-
worst team in the league anymore. Or
Yeah,
not the
no.
not worst in that division.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have the Orioles in last place, 12.5 games behind the Yankees for first place already.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not the largest gap between first and last in a division so far, but it's still
No.
pretty bad.
yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah. Same old thing with the Orioles, it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, what can you do? It's the Orioles. Then in the AL Central, you have the Minnesota Twins at 1. The White Sox 5.5 games behind that. The Guardians 7 games back. Tigers and Royals are both 12.5 games behind. So the number is 12.5 for last place so far. No.
I just want to point out that the White Sox have a negative 35 run differential and are sitting in second place.
Oh my god! I just saw that.
Yeah.
And the Twins have a plus 34.
I don't know how to explain that. I can't explain that.
Staff at that point.
Yeah. For the AL West, you have the Houston Asterix at number 1. And then you have the Angels 1 game back of that.
That's
Keep
like,
pushing,
come on.
Angels. I
Come
believe
on,
in
Ohtani.
you.
Come on,
Yeah.
Ohtani. They
Please.
can do it.
I believe
on.
in you.
Get the asterisks out of here.
And then you have the Rangers 8.5 games behind that. The Mariners 10 games, and then the Athletics 10.5 games.
The team that I feel the worst about in that whole situation is the Mariners, because it looks like this is yet another season without playoffs, unless a miracle happens.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Well, nothing truly counts until after the All-Star break, so we'll see where they are then, but it's not looking too good.
Yeah.
Going to the National League, the better league, you have the NL East.
Wait a minute.
You have Calvin's team at number 1. We don't have to worry about them.
Pretty.
And then you have the Braves and the Phillies both 8 games back.
Which is the largest gap between first and second in any division right now.
Yeah, whatever. And then you have the Marlins 9 games back, and then you happily see the Washington Nationals at the bottom behind 14.5 games.
They are currently tied with the Reds for the most losses this season.
You know how bad you have to be for that to happen?
Yeah.
Are disappointing this year.
They are.
I'm not disappointed.
They also are tied with the Reds for the largest gap between first and last in their division.
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe we should be looking at the Nationals as the worst team in the league.
Yeah, right. Maybe have that conversation soon.
Yeah.
Then you have the NL Central. You have the Milwaukee Brewers at number 1, of course, because their bullpen is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're disgusting, dude. Then you have the Cardinals 3 games behind that. Then the Cubs at 8.5.
Biggest disappointment for me in the National League, the Cubs. I expected so much out of them.
Yeah, especially with Seiya Suzuki.
Yeah, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Then you have the Pirates 9.5 games back, and then the Cincinnati Reds 14.5 games back.
Now, I thought that nobody could beat the Reds with their terrible run differential, but they actually have been doing a little better in the last couple of games. This is where we get to talk about the Pirates.
One.
So the Pirates have been blown out like 3 or 4 times this year, to that point that they have a negative 88 run differential.
Oh, wow.
Which is not good, if you haven't noticed.
Gotta love baseball, man.
Yeah.
And then you have probably one of the tougher divisions, probably the toughest division right now.
The only division where everybody has 20 wins.
Yeah, the NL West. You have the Dodgers at number 1 because, of course. And then you have the Padres 1.5 games behind them. Then the Giants 6 games back. The Diamondbacks 7.5 games back. And then the Colorado Rockies 9 games back.
Oof.
So.
You know who can be the sneakiest out of that division?
Who?
The Arizona Diamondbacks.
I believe it.
They could pull it off.
they could be so sneaky after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Well,
They
they
really
currently
could.
sit fourth in the wild card standings. So
Yeah.
there is a chance there. There is a chance. For those of you, by the way, who are watching live, if you want to catch some baseball tonight, the big games tonight, Mets and the Giants. First pitch is at 3:45 p.m. Brewers and Padres, big game there. It's going to be on ESPN Plus at 4:10 p.m. And for our teams, the Phillies and the Braves, they start at 7:20 p.m.
Yep.
Yankees are hosting the Orioles, and Calvin, your team's the Mets there. Yeah, I already said Mets and Giants. Speaking of which, by the way, it's the middle of the third. The Rockies are now up 4-0 on the Pirates.
Oh my God.
Yep.
How's Chris Bryant doing?
Chris Bryant, we're about to find out. Do not know if he's playing.
He might not be.
Doesn't look like it.
Wow. 4-0.
Interesting.
What
right.
inning did you say? Second?
Fourth.
It's the middle of the third.
The third. I was gonna say second.
Yeah.
And then not live adjustments, but we do have the stat leaders through this week. So let's go into that. You have for batting, the batting average is, of course, Manny Machado.
Mhm.
He is he's batting where is it? I had it. He's batting 368.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Pretty damn well. Home runs, you got Aaron Judge with 17.
Yeah, Aaron Judge is crazy right now in home
He's
run.
going insane.
I don't know if he can get I would love to see him break the American League record. It's going to be tough, but I'd love to see it happen.
What's the record?
Oh, why do I not know this? Hang on. American League home run record. American League home run record. Why? I should know this off the top of my head.
Yeah, you history nerd. You should know this one.
It is Roger Maris, 1961, 61 home runs for the Yankees.
Of course, it was freaking Yankees.
Look, when people talk about the home run record,
Yankees have the top 3 home run records actually. 61 with Roger Maris, Babe Ruth for 60, and then Babe Ruth for 59.
Oh yeah, we are awesome. That tells you all you need to know. By the way, I have the Rockies Pirates game on my phone over here. PNC Park is empty. Nobody is here. Oh, it's so weird. Who's going? I get it's a middle of the day game. Oh, the Pirates have their cool uniforms on.
I don't know if it counts for you, Kylie, but Jimmy Fox of the Philadelphia Athletics is number 4 at 58.
All right, then. I'll take it.
Hey. That's not the same Philly team.
I mean, it's not the same Philly team, but it's,
It's the other Philly team. The one that left.
It's true.
The Yankees actually
go ahead.
Of the top 10 in AL home run record.
It's because we were the best, because we've dominated the American League so thoroughly. Speaking of the Athletics really quickly, this is complete tangent and completely unrelated, sort of. You ever wanted to know why the Oakland Raiders and Kansas City Chiefs hate each other so much?
Why?
Right. It's because the Athletics moved from Kansas City to Oakland in the 60s.
Oh, my God.
And the mayor of Kansas City went off on them. Yeah, that's why. So when they got 2 leagues in the American Football League, there you go.
Oh, my God. All right. So let's get back on track. We
definitely got off track here.
Back to the stat leaders. We have Jose Ramirez with 43 RBIs.
Okay.
That dude is proven to be worth every bit of that contract. And then with hits, you of course have Manny Machado with 60. He's having such a great season.
Yeah.
It's truly it's really amazing, honestly.
Sorry, you said how many RBIs does Jose Ramirez have?
43.
So the record is 191.
Huh.
Just want to point that out. He might be on pace to break that.
Hey, you can't count the guy out behind him too, Petey Alonso, man.
Oh, that's true.
41.
Well, as a Yankees fan, I can, because we're the superior New York team. I cannot wait for July when the Yankees and Mets finally will play each other.
Hey, I was
so much fun.
that game the other day. I was like, I might have to get out there.
I know. But my issue is ticket prices are insane.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they are, and it's like it's expensive getting to New York too. Not only just getting tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, getting to New York depends on how you get in there, but yeah, true.
It's also a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I still have nightmares about getting trapped on the George Washington Bridge earlier this year.
Yeah.
Not fun.
No.
All right, finish up the stat leader so we can move on to basketball.
All right, so we got for stolen bases, we have Jorge Mateo of Baltimore, with 12 stolen bases.
Okay.
And I just want to point out he does not play regularly.
He does not.
No, they usually put him in as a pinch runner. So
Yeah.
okay.
Like Roman Quinn. For pitching, you have Walker Buehler of the Dodgers and Justin Verlander of the Asterix, with 6 wins.
Ugh.
And then with ERA, you have Justin Verlander again with a 1.22 ERA.
That's disgusting.
Right. For saves, you have Taylor Rogers of the Padres with 16, only because Josh Hader has not played enough games.
Yeah.
He still has a 0.00 ERA.
Oh my God.
He has not allowed an earned run in the regular season for over 33 innings.
It's filthy.
This
Filthy.
dude is just, I mean, what?
Like-
How? Like, he's an automatic save every single time.
He's just built different.
Yeah. And then for strikeouts, you have Shane McClanahan of the Rays with 74 strikeouts. It's pretty impressive, honestly.
That's a lot. Yeah.
And then quality starts, you have Joe Musgrove of the Padres with 8. So
My neighbors just walked by with their pit bulls. They have a new puppy. Adorable. I'm getting distracted. Go continue.
All right, so let's move on to the NBA. So something
Now,
that
you're gonna have to fill me in a lot on this because I have not been paying as much attention to the NBA as I should this past week.
That's
so
why
you're
you
gonna
have
have to
me.
fill me in. Yeah.
So the All-NBA team has been announced. And Calvin, I'm sure you feel the same way about this with your player.
LeBron being third team is absolutely insane.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this because we both know that it's utter bullshit. So let's just get into it.
I'll say who the teams were at first. I have no stake in this because my favorite players weren't a part of this at all. Your first team: Giannis Antetokounmpo, Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, and Jokic. It's Eastern European. I'm gonna say it weird. Okay, give me a break. And Jason Tatum. There's your first team. Second team: Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, DeMar DeRozan, Joel Embiid, John Morant. Interesting. Third team: LeBron James, Chris Paul, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns, and Trae Young. I will let you guys handle this. I have no stake in this. All I'm gonna say is that I am not a huge fan of the teams.
Yeah, it's utter.
I
crap.
would restart the orders, but I'll let you guys handle this as I step to the side.
So it's expected. We all knew Joel Embiid would be second team with Jokic undeservedly winning MVP. But this just goes to show how stupid these things are and how meaningless they are. Because we're gonna get to LeBron in a second because that's a whole other topic. But Embiid right now, dude won the scoring title, first of all. First center to do that since Shaq. He's had the most 40 in 10 games in a season. Number 2. Number 3, he was the MVP runner-up. Why is the MVP runner-up not on first team? Like, it makes absolutely no sense.
You can't have nice things. That's why.
No.
And run me the first team back again, Isaac. Who was on that first team?
So the first team NBA All NBA was give me one second. There we go.
It was Giannis.
Giannis, Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, Jokic, and Tatum.
All right. So Giannis, I can see. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Jokic, I can see as the second best center in the NBA.
because he won MVP. Okay, cool.
Mm,
Devin Booker over Joel Embiid as the MVP runner-up is absolutely insane.
I know.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
The Sixers are gonna have to list Embiid as a power forward now.
Like this,
Or like a fucking shooting guard.
this guy, like Kylee said, had the most 40-point games.
40 and 10.
He's going out there every night. Like, and this is a team. This is a team now that has James Harden as well. Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I understand people say he's not the same James Harden, this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, this is James Harden. Okay. So James Harden is out here and is not doing what he needs to do. Joel Embiid comes back and then they start winning games. These guys were down 2-0 against the Heat. Joel Embiid comes back to the game 3, and what do? They win. Just him being in a basketball game just shows you the factor that he is to his team. Like, that is an MVP right there. He makes the team better, and that's what an MVP is supposed to do. So to have this guy on the second team All NBA is absolutely crazy.
It is. And then to have LeBron at third team?
So
LeBron?
Bron had let me just run you by Bron's stats after the All-Star break.
Go ahead.
36, 39, 32, 37, 43, 31, 35, 34, 30, 33, 29, 30, 33, 32, 26, 56, 50, 31, 30, 36, 38, 38, 39, 38.
Do me a favor, remind me how old he is?
Year 19.
At
The guy averaged
37.
a game in year 19.
At 37 years old. But that's third team.
Yeah, those awards are just jokes nowadays.
They literally are. And I mean, especially with like the MVP, like VORP, which doesn't exist. I had people on Twitter saying that the eye test isn't a thing, but VORP is. So you mean to tell me the film doesn't mean shit? Watching the game?
Now now, Kylee, I believe you recently, in one of the articles that you published, you offered some suggestions on like solutions and ways the NBA can fix this. Because from what I'm hearing here, it's clear that there's a big issue in voting for these awards and choosing which players deservedly should get the honor of being on the All NBA team.
Yeah.
So you said you have some solutions.
Yeah. So with the MVP, the media should not be the ones voting. Mike Greenberg went on First Take or on Get Up and said that the Celtics were crumbling. You know what they did after that? They won 2 in a row to knock Milwaukee out, and they're in a dogfight against the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. And he voted for Jokic. That proves to you right there that the media doesn't know a damn thing.
Yeah.
It should be a mixed vote of players, coaches, and GMs.
Yeah.
A mixed percentage of them all.
1,000%. Because if you ask anybody in the NBA last year that was a player, I guarantee you that Joel Embiid wins that MVP.
That wasn't on the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Because the eye test is the actual thing that matters.
Those guys know.
They play the game.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for people like in the media, aside from the ones that actually used to play basketball, like Shaq, Barkley, like those guys, they shouldn't have a vote. And even the old heads like Shaq and Barkley maybe shouldn't even have a vote.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't discount them.
I wouldn't discount them either, but I'm saying like you can make the argument for the old guys, the old heads, to not have a vote. But I mean, I'd be okay. That's fine. Like,
Shaq
go ahead.
Basketball though, he'll tell you straight up if somebody's trash and who's good.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, I think a lot of part of I think there's another part of it that we haven't really talked about is that a lot of media personalities covering basketball and in covering all sports in general, they're out there for their own personal brand. They're out there for their personality. When you think of Stephen A. Smith, you don't think of his analysis. You think of his bombastic personality. When you think of, like Skip and Shannon, you think of them just arguing all the time and their messed up takes. Buzzkill B on YouTube says, "Hey, thank you for watching, Buzzkill B.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much."
But it's just like it's so frustrating, man. Like, what
Yeah.
more do these players have to do?
Not really. They don't really need to do anything. What honestly, what has to do is they just need to change the voting policies.
Yeah,
Like
they're just mad. Like,
I think everyone in this podcast now and anybody watching, I think we've all collectively agreed that Joel Embiid is the actual MVP of
Yeah.
the 2022 season.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. You look at what he did with the Phillies. I said Phillies, the 76ers. You see what he did when he was active for the Sixers versus what happened when he wasn't active for the Sixers. The fact that this man's absence threw the Sixers off so much that they lost a playoff series shows you just how important he was to them and why he should be MVP.
Yeah.
To combine with a scoring title and everyththing else.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get that the media loves Jokic. I love Jokic too. He's a throwback to the big, massive European players like Dirk Nowitzki. All right. But he wasn't the best player this last season.
No, he wasn't.
If naming him MVP is a way for you to get people talking about your personal brand or getting your name out there, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
It seems to me like people were naming Jokic MVP just so people would talk about, oh, so and so had a horrible take and blah blah blah, just to get their name out there.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Whatever. It's we all know, we all agree. It's crap. So it's universally accepted that it's just bullshit award nowadays. So that's all there is to it.
At least on the bright side, the Nuggets have no chance of winning the finals.
They have no chance of getting past the first round, dude. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh man.
But the MVP, whatever.
Yeah.
So moving on, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves hiring executive Tim Connolly to a 5-year deal worth $40 million that includes ownership equity.
Nice. Tim Connolly, if you're listening, let me borrow $1.
I'm sure you don't need all of that. Come on. I think it's a good pickup. I think the Timberwolves are a team that has a lot of potential. We saw this year with how well they played to get into the playoffs. They just need a little restructuring, and I think they'll be good to go. And I think bringing in somebody like Tim Connolly is going to help out with that.
Yeah.
I am curious as to why they gave him ownership stakes, though. That's interesting.
Hey, if he can build a great team to build around the team that they already have, the Timberwolves are going to be even more fun to watch than they already are.
They're very young, and they have an established guy like Cat to lead them. They're going up just like the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
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 Changing the guard in the NBA.
So we got one team that's not so hot right now. You got the Nets reportedly being unwilling to give Kyrie Irving a long-term extension due to his vaccination status and injury history.
Good. I'll say this once, and it's the only time I'm going to say this. Kyrie Irving refusing to get vaccinated screwed the Nets season entirely. They were so out of sync without him, and the fact that they did not have enough time playing with him to get in sync with him, and it cost them in the playoffs. I will stick to that.
No matter your opinion on the vaccination, his absence definitely was felt.
Yeah. They were never able to develop a consistent rhythm all season because they constantly had to be, okay, we got Kyrie in the lineup tonight. Now we don't. Now we do. Now we don't. Now for the next 3 games, we won't. But we will for the next 4 games because we'll be on the road. It threw them off all season. And as a result, they're the only team in the entire postseason that got swept. Thanks to what the Mavericks did last night. They are now officially the only team that got swept this postseason.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care. I don't care if you're for or against vaccines. At the end of the day, Kyrie screwed the Nets, and I completely understand why Brooklyn is like, maybe we shouldn't re-sign you.
Listen, man. Listen. I don't really have a take on. Well, I mean, I'm vaccinated. You guys, obviously, I have a daughter on the way, so I have to be fully everything. But yeah. Kyrie, unvaccinated or not, come over here back to Braun, man. Leaving Braun was the worst decision you ever made.
It really was.
It was.
Go ahead and make that Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving trade. Go give Russell back to KD. Come back over here to Braun to LA. let's go win some more championships, man. Like,
Speaking of Russell Westbrook, the Lakers are not willing to part with the first round pick to move him.
so, go ahead, Isaac. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think he's worth a first round pick anymore, considering how he played last season.
This is the thing about Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook had a bad season last season because they're like, hey, Russell, go stand in the corner and play basketball like this. That's not Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook has the basketball in his hand 80% of the time. So now you're taking the ball out of his hand and giving the ball to LeBron 60% of the time, giving the ball to Malik Monk 20% of the time, and now
Yeah.
Russell gets the ball 20% of the time. That's not Russell Westbrook basketball. So if the Lakers want to keep Russell and they're not going to be able to trade him because the team doesn't want him or anything like that, the only thing they need to let Russell Westbrook do is let Russell Westbrook play Russell Westbrook basketball. Because even though I know it's an all-star game, but we've seen it in the all-star game. Him and LeBron mesh like this. But that's because he's playing Russell Westbrook basketball. So I really just think that the Lakers need to go ahead and let Russell Westbrook be Russell Westbrook, and that's it. If they don't.
For sure.
I just think it's too much. There's too much personality on that team. I think you've got too many big names on that team. I've said it before and I said it again. The Lakers tried to have a super team with like 5 different superstars.
Well,
it didn't work. Let
me tell you this though. They say that Bron was controlling that 2016 team when he was in Cleveland. He put the whole team together. Kyrie Irving said that in the interview he was in the other day. He said Bron put that whole team together. You see what happens. They go out and win a championship. This year, Jeannie Buss comes out and she says LeBron has nothing to do with this roster. You see what happens. 33-49.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. I would like to see what happens if they give LeBron a bit more control.
Like the GM knows how to build a roster.
Yeah, the GM.
He's gonna be the greatest GM when he's done playing the game.
I cannot wait. Oh man, I cannot wait.
But here's the issue with that though, because is he going to be the best GM, or is he the best GM now because he's playing, and his skill set is good enough to help those around him?
I feel like LeBron has adapted well to how basketball has changed over the course of his career. I mean, think about when he first started out, basketball was, still in kind of the Michael Jordan era of super physical, of super in the paint, really, close range, everybody getting up in each other's grill. It allowed teams like the Spurs and the Lakers and the Detroit team, Pistons. Man, for those who are new or watching, brain farts happen a lot. I'm gonna forget random names and they're gonna come back to me all of a sudden. But that was an era that allowed teams to be super physical, get right up in each other's face. Basketball has transitioned into an era of the long ball, deep threes, spreading out the offense. Teams like the Warriors,
Curry,
like the Warriors, and any team that James Harden's on, basically they can spread out the court, and it's a completely different game. You see scoring is going up. Scores are becoming insane. We're no longer getting games that end like 95-89. We're getting games that end like 127-101. LeBron has transitioned really well between that transition of these two eras. So much so that even when he retires and becomes a GM, which I probably think he will, I think he's going to be fine. I don't see basketball really having, until the next big transitional shift in basketball occurs. I think LeBron as a GM would work out great.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if he's building a team around Bronny, which is my personal wet dream, and I cannot wait for that to happen. Cannot wait.
That would be cool to see. But one final thing for the NBA. We have the conference finals updates.
Now, this is where I have nothing to say because I have not been watching the conference finals because they're either on way too late at night or hockey is on. And to be honest, hockey has been a bit more exciting, especially because of what's happening in the East.
Yeah, I haven't been watching it either, but I've been catching highlights and stuff. But I have something to say after you, whatever you're about to say here, Kylie.
So for the series updates, we have the Heat and the Celtics in the East, and that series is tied 2-2. Each game has been a freaking blowout.
Just not even close.
Not
Game
even close.
Game 3, we got close to having an actual game.
Yeah, that's because they blew the lead.
Yeah.
It was a blowout. And then for the West, you have the Mavs and the Warriors. The Mavs cling on. So the series is 3-1. The game 6 is tomorrow at 9. Heat and Celtics game 5 is tonight at 8:30. Or I meant not game 6, game 5. Oh my god. And then so the Mavs avoid the sweep, but it's barely. They had a good lead, but they were blowing it. So
I've been impressed with the Mavericks. I was impressed with the Mavericks after last night. I'm more disappointed with Miami. Can we please be consistent? That whole series, by the way, has been agony to watch, which is why I haven't been watching it. It's like, one, playoff hockey is on, and two, we're not going to get a single close game? Really?
Not one.
Yeah, it's brutal.
I wanted the Celtics to win that series only because my second favorite player is Jason Tatum, but
and because you want your Celtics finals thing to come true.
Yeah, Celtics. Well, I said Celtics Suns, but I'm going Celtics Warriors now, obviously. But
yeah, of course.
It would be interesting. Okay, I looked at the 4 possible finals matchups. So the 4 possible matchups we'd have Celtics versus Warriors. The Heat versus Warriors. Celtics versus Mavericks. Heat versus Mavericks. Now, the historian in me would love to see Heat Mavericks version 3. But at the same time, the basketball fan in me would love to see Heat Warriors, the 2 best teams of the last decade, finally meeting each other. Although, to be fair, they are completely different than the teams they were when they had their dynasties.
Yeah, of course.
But before we move on to whatever sport we're going to next year, I just want to say something about basketball and these Eastern Conference finals and everything here.
Boring.
Hate them or love them, won or lost. The guy went to 10 straight, and nobody will ever do it again.
Ever.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Guys they compare to him, Giannis, KD, all those guys, it has to stop because that guy there was a technician. He could do anything in that Eastern Conference. He literally ran Toronto. They called it LeBronto. So, all the comparisons to LeBron in the East have to stop because he just dominate that side of town.
Yeah, and it's because of the Warriors and the Cavs and LeBron going to 8 straight finals, like 10 straight conference, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
That became so normal to us that it's like we expect it now and it's just not going to happen anymore.
Yep.
Because the depth is going to be different on every team every single year. And the depth is what's going to be the thing that runs this next decade of basketball, honestly.
Yeah.
But it definitely makes basketball more fun now because now it's like,
yes,
used to be like, all right, we know who's going, Cavs Warriors, or back in the day it was Heat, whatever, or when
Heat
Kobe
Spurs,
Lakers are going. Now it's like you don't know who's going because at the beginning of this year, I really thought Giannis was going back.
We all did.
Yeah.
We all thought Giannis was going back. But it's good to have different teams every so often because it keeps things fresh and keeps it entertaining, at least for a little bit.
So before we move on to talking a little bit about some off-season football news, just want to point out the blowout I was watching is no longer a blowout. The Pirates have now crawled to within 2. It's 4-2.
Okay.
See?
Yeah. Also, I've discovered who is actually attending the Pirates game on a Wednesday afternoon in the middle of May. It's a bunch of school kids on a field trip. There's like 5 schools on field trips there, which, by the way, I just want to say to the Pittsburgh School District, really? A Pirates game? There are so many more fun things you could do.
I went to Nats games when tickets were $8 for a field trip. Like,
oh man.
Yeah.
Speaking of high tickets, you know that oh boy.
The hell?
We good? Are we good?
That was weird.
Oh, the dreaded Wi-Fi glitch. We knew this was going to happen with how terrible my Wi-Fi is, but I'm amazed that we made it 1 hour into the podcast before it finally happened. So that's good. By the way, we are 1 hour into the podcast. Thank you to everybody who's still watching, and again, shout out to all of our sponsors and Old City
Yes.
Sports Network for giving us the chance to do this.
Yes.
This is Isaac, Kylee, and Calvin. We are about halfway through everything we got to do, so let's move on
More
to talk
than
about
halfway through.
more than halfway through. So let's talk about some quick NFL offseason news. Not a lot, but there was a couple big things.
Yeah.
Jadeveon Clowney is re-signing with the Browns. How do
Yeah.
we feel? How do we feel?
I respect it, but I hate him. So
That
I mean, him and Myles Garrett will be cool, but it's still the Browns.
yeah, it's
yeah.
the
Oh, why
Browns is the Browns. I mean,
or not? It's like, man, I can't really say anything about the Browns yet. Browns got
yeah,
Until I see how their offense works, I'm not gonna get hyped.
Yeah.
But I will say their defense is going to be nice. I
yeah.
guess.
And what with Deshaun Watson being unknown, we don't know what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
you know,
but the Ravens will still win that division.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh.
You got the Steelers expecting to promote Omar Khan to take over as GM.
I mean, it's about time they start making some front office changes. We've seen the
Uh-huh.
last couple of years the Steelers have kind of fallen from perennial playoff contender to, well, at least they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Kind of. So
They
hopefully
were a fake 11-0 a couple years ago. Like,
oh, that was so painful. That was so
I enjoyed it.
painful.
You know who beat them?
Yes, sir.
Commanders. No,
Yeah.
we're
I was at a bar in rural Carroll County watching that, and people lost their minds. Granted, they were using the old name, but
Of
they
course.
still do up here.
that was
They still
before
do up
I
here.
really got into big sports betting. But I promise you, that night I was telling everybody, bro, I don't know why, but we're gonna shock the world tonight.
Yeah.
I would
It
bet
felt
my
like it.
house on it. We're gonna shock the world tonight.
Yeah. I had an old podcast, and on that podcast I was like, Washington's gonna win it. The Steelers are a fake 11-0. Like they're not gonna win this game. And lo and
There's something
behold,
special about it.
they lost. So that made me
Yeah.
happy because
Yeah.
I cannot stand the Steelers fans.
I
Like,
hope
they're-
Omar Khan can, bring him back though, man. I miss staying Steelers great football.
I don't.
I
wrong
do.
side of Pennsylvania.
I do. Mainly because my dad was a big Steelers fan for a while because of
Big Ben.
well, Ben Roethlisberger went to his alma mater. Go Red Hawks, Miami of O. Let's go. But yeah, I miss those Steelers teams during my childhood were always fun to watch. They were always competing. They were always making deep playoff runs. So it
yeah.
would be nice to see them be competitive like that again. I will say, one of my roommates is a Steelers fan, so it would be nice to have them be in a good mood this fall. So we can,
Right.
yeah. We
All right. So moving on, we got the Colts signing NFL or Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles.
Big Dick Nick is back.
The
Let's see if he'll finally find success here. I know that I know I probably shouldn't say anything ill about Nick Foles, considering
Never.
that he has a vendetta against my quarterback and always tortures him whenever they play.
Yeah, he owns you.
Let's not talk about that.
Owns you.
I really like the Nick Foles pickup though.
Me too. Great leader, great backup.
Yeah. And if Matt Ryan goes down with injury, which hopefully won't happen, I don't think it
But
will.
it's always possible.
Matt Ryan has it, yeah. But if Matt Ryan has a tendency to always stay really healthy, so that's good. But in the case that it does happen, hey, Nick Foles flourishes as a backup. Don't you dare make him a starter, though. He will rue the day you make him a starter. The Eagles figured that out the year after they won the Super Bowl. The Jaguars figured that out on day one, and the Bears figured that out as well. Don't make Nick Foles the starter. Put him as a backup and wait for your starter to go down with an injury. It's the only way.
Yeah. Final thing about football is the changes are being discussed to the Pro Bowl, including not even having the game itself.
And
Go ahead, Cal. You take the lead on this one.
I was just gonna say that's fine with me. Like the game's stupid.
Yeah.
I have always loved the Pro Bowl until recently when I realized how stupid it was. The problem with the Pro Bowl is really clear. It's that the players are just not playing anymore. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because they're terrified of getting hurt. And they don't, well, okay, and I guess they do want to. the mentality around the Pro Bowl is completely different than it was back in when we were kids. During the era, that was an era of the Pro Bowl where you had Sean Taylor murdering a punter.
Yep.
Like it's completely changed.
My favorite highlight.
Honestly, at this point, most All-Star games in sports, I almost want to say, what if we moved it to the middle of the season like other sports leagues do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But football's such a physical game. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah. But
canceling it out as a whole they might as well just do that.
Yeah.
Just make another type of weekend or something. I don't know.
Yeah. They want to do some way to honor the players, of course. But they haven't decided on what to do yet. They just are considering getting rid of the game entirely. So
Well, considering how bad last year's Pro Bowl was, probably for the best.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So moving on, we got Isaac's Hockey Corner. Isaac, give us the Stanley Cup playoff series updates.
My favorite part.
Before we go there, I'm just going to give a shout out to Kylie's Eagles real quick because they have had the best offseason that any team has had.
Yes, sir. Without any question, really. I'll take AJ Brown.
Nice.
Isaac, what do we got in the world of hockey?
Well, we're on to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let me get all scooched down, all comfortable with everybody down here so we can talk about this. Oh, my back. All right, it is time. Let's talk some hockey. Second round of Stanley Cup has been wild. Pretty much everything has been happening. Every single game has been great to watch. The series we're going to start with is the one that I'm most happy about. Lightning and Panthers, the Battle of Florida. What we all thought was going to be an incredible duel to the death between two teams to determine who would come out on top in the Atlantic Division. The ultimate battle for supremacy between the best team in the East, the Panthers, and the two-time defending champions. And oh my God, the Lightning swept them. It wasn't even close. They stunned the Panthers in game 1, 4-1. Game 2, they were tied 1-1 when Nikita Kucherov, with 0.9 seconds left, has an incredible behind-the-back pass to Ross Colton, who knocks it into the corner of the goal out of nowhere. Tampa takes a 2-1 lead. They smashed Florida in game 3, 5-1. And then 2 nights ago in game 4, it's a sweep. 2-0 victory. Florida had 33 chances across 10 games with a power play, did not score a single power play goal.
Jesus.
They had all of that talent. I wrote an article about this. It's on oldcitysportsnetwork.com. You can go check it out. The eternal suffering of the Florida Panthers. This franchise is the most disappointing franchise in hockey. You just look at their history. It is inconceivable just how terrible, not terrible, but just how disappointing and unlucky this franchise has been. And now we have another notch to their history of failure. Their legacy of failure is one of my favorite sports YouTubers, Urinating Tree, likes to put it. They were swept by the Lightning after being the best team in the East with one of the worst power play performances in NHL history.
Yeah.
They were the most inconsistent winning team the whole entire season.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you. Because there were so many times betting that I was like, all right, I'm taking the Panthers tonight. And these guys would get blown out. I'm like, you just won 2 nights ago, 6-0, 6-0. It's like, come on, man. It's crazy.
It's extremely disappointing. Yeah, that's it's probably one of the more stunning sweeps we've recently seen. Because even I thought, as a Lightning fan, I was confident. It was like, we got this. We 2-time defending champs. We got this. We didn't have it. I thought for certain. I was like, Florida's gonna give us a good fight, right? They're gonna at least take 1 or 2 games. They didn't. Outside of game 2, it wasn't even close. Game 4 got a little hectic. Game 4, they had 2 goals that got overturned due to some stupid rules. That's the Lightning fan to me coming out. We had 2 goals overturned due to some dumb rules.
Even the dogs agree.
The dogs agree too.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, Florida, What on earth are you doing? And here's the worst part. The Panthers, they don't have a single first-round draft pick for the next 3 years. They gave up those picks to get Jumbo Joe and Claude Giroux. And I don't know if Joe Thornton's got much more in it, got any more seasons in him, you know?
I don't think
So,
so.
and Claude Giroux, I mean, I would have loved. I know a lot of our Flyers followers would have loved to see him finally win a cup after
Including
years.
me, because I am
Yeah.
a Philly sports fan.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's just disappointing. It's just depressing.
It really is. I mean, they sold everything. They
And
went all in.
compared to the other series, which have all been ridiculously competitive, this series was just an enigma. It's like it was. I'll say this: I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with the next round.
Yeah, for sure.
Tampa Bay. I like Tampa Bay to three-peat, man.
God.
I would love
Somebody
to.
needs to humble Isaac's ass. Like,
I am
this
being a
dude is
humble
a
sports
Heat
fan.
fan, a Yankees fan, a Lightning fan,
Bucks fan.
and a Bucks fan.
And
Like,
if we're counting motorsports, my favorite driver, Kyle Larson, won the Cup Series championship last year.
yeah, see, you gotta be humbled, my dude. You gotta have something painful happen to
Oh,
your
it probably will.
sports.
It probably will eventually. The Buccaneers losing in the playoffs last year kind of humbled me.
Because it's not fair that I am suffering every week with all my freaking teams. I got the Phillies on a 10-year playoff drought. I got the Eagles trading away the franchise quarterback. I got the Devils, who I don't know what the hell is going on with the Devils. And then
The Sixers
the
just
Sixers,
being playoff disappointments.
like, dude.
Just hold the L. Just hold the L.
See, you gotta humble your ass, man.
I know. Let's talk about the other series. So the other Eastern series, Hurricanes and Rangers. This one's been interesting. So the Hurricanes came from behind to take it to win 2-1 in overtime in Game 1. And after their performance in Game 2, when they took a 2-0 victory, it looked like, okay, Rangers might be out of it.
Yeah.
But Carolina has not won on the road all postseason, and that trend continued to Games 3 and 4. Rangers struck back at home in Game 3. They won 3-1, and in Game 4, they evened up the series with a dominant performance. So we're tied 2-2. The Hurricanes have won all 6 of their home playoff games. They've lost all 5 of their road playoff games. Hurricanes do have home ice advantage for this series. Based on that stat, they probably will end up winning in 7.
Yeah.
That being said, either one of these teams, Tampa is going to be very well prepared because Tampa is getting a little break time thanks to their sweep. I will be very, very interested to see what happens between these two squads because either one of them is going to have to take on Tampa, and I don't know which one I prefer.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's that series. Now in the West, the West is interesting. So the Avalanche Blues series, this one got ugly off the ice. Very ugly. Game 1 was extremely tightly contested in overtime. We all thought, okay, the Avalanche are going to easily take care of business. The Blues, they're an older team. They got a lot of older. They're a bit of an older team. The Avalanche, meanwhile, are this juggernaut, the best team in hockey. Game 1 was really tight. It took an overtime goal by Manson to get the Avalanche a 3-2 victory. Game 2, though, was a shocker. The Blues dominated. They won it 4-1. They tied up the series, and then came Game 3. Ugly play, injuries. Avalanche won it 5-2. Blues goaltender Jordan Binnington was lost for the series with an upper body injury when he got hit by Nazem Kadri of the Avalanche. Blues fans, they didn't take that well and went to social media to post racist death threats at Nazem Kadri, who's Muslim. Nazem Kadri and his wife reposted those threats and basically said, this is what we're facing because of what happened. And Nazem Kadri used that as a pre-workout fuel because in Game 4, the Avs won 6-3 and Kadri had a hat trick.
Yep.
So now the Avalanche lead the series 3-1 and have a chance to put the Blues away tonight, which I hope they do because come on, St. Louis fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on.
I actually might watch that game because I'm done with the NBA.
I'm probably going to watch that too. I have no real interest to watching the Eastern Conference Finals because of just how bad the games have been. And honestly, the hockey's been so good. The last series we're going to talk about is Flames and Oilers. Calgary Calgary. We got to talk about it. This is the series that I thought the Battle of Florida was going to be. The Battle of Alberta has been everything the Battle of Florida was supposed to be. So, game 1, the Flames were up 6-2. They blew that lead. It was 6-6. Then they scored 3 straight goals out of nowhere. Defense, we don't need defense where we're going. They won 9-6. That's all they got. Chaos was in game 2. Edmonton evened the series with a 5-3 victory. Then in game 3, Evander Kane had scored a natural hat trick to give the Oilers a 4-1 win. And last night, Calgary fell apart. The Flames lost 5-3 after they had pulled. The Oilers took a 3-0 lead. Flames pulled back to make it 3-2, and then the Oilers just went off in the last period. Edmonton leads the series 3-1 and has a chance to finish them off tomorrow night. I know we said this at the beginning of when we first talked on our previews for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Anybody but Edmonton, please.
Yeah.
Anyone but Edmonton. Like, especially because, by the way, I just want to point out Evander Kane, the guy who in our very first episode we talked about how his shenanigans and ignoring COVID protocols got him kicked off the Sharks. He is currently leading all players in the playoffs win playoff goals. So that's the hockey gods basically telling us, "Ooh, so we hear you don't like Evander Kane."
Yep.
I'll have plenty of him.
Right.
I'm praying for a Calgary comeback, but I don't know. They're going to have to overcome a 3-1 deficit.
Yeah.
It can be done, but I don't know if they can do it because they have not looked good since game 1.
No,
Even in
they
game
haven't.
1, they blew a 6-2 lead and just barely snuck past. So that'll do it for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now it is on to our favorite part of the podcast. Who won it all?
Well, wait a minute. Aren't we
What?
forgetting something? Our
What?
Goobers of the Week.
Okay, so we'll do that later though.
Yeah, we'll do that later. Yeah. We usually, for those who are new, so we do a couple of these little fun little things at the end of the podcast, kind of lighthearted stuff. Apparently we're doing them in a new order now, Kylie. Would have been nice to know that. It's fine.
Forgot
Don't worry about
it.
it. Who won it all that year? This is a game we like to play where I give you guys a year. You tell me who were the champions of the Big Four sports that year, if you can remember. So far we've pretty much kind of been focusing on years that we've been alive in outside of 1986, which I did because, it's fun to talk about the 86 Mets. Today, we're going to be doing a year that holds a lot of that's pretty special to me. 2004. That's the year that I first started watching football and first started getting into sports.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, Kylie is suffering already.
I know.
All right,
2004.
2004, the Big Four sports champions. So let's start with Major League Baseball. Kylie Calvin, who won the World Series in 2004?
Is it the Red Sox?
I think it was the Red Sox, right?
The Red Sox swept the Cardinals to end the curse. We're not going to talk about the American League Championship Series that year and that disgusting blown lead that some team from New York did that I don't want to talk about. Yeah. This was a good year for Boston sports, by the way. I'll give you a hint for coming up. I'll get this one out of the way. Who won the Super Bowl in 2004?
Patriots.
Yep. Who did they beat in that Super Bowl, Kylie?
Eagles.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out T.O. though, man. Broken leg.
On a broken leg, T.O.
Should have won that game.
Eagles probably should have won that game too. And that was before Andy Reid knew how to manage the clock, though. So
right.
I don't know. I'm sorry, Kylie. I hate to bring that up. Don't worry. NBA Finals, I think. Who won the
Pistons.
NBA Finals? These ones are. Yeah, there you go. Pistons. That was.
They had either the Pistons or the Lakers. One of them.
They beat the
Pistons
Lakers
versus Lakers. That was the Lakers team where Shaq and Kobe were feuding. They brought in Karl Malone, and Phil Jackson wrote a whole book about how crazy it was and stepped away from coaching at the end of the year because of how chaotic it was. They lost to the blue-collar Pistons. Fun stuff.
I remember that because I watched there was a video of Kobe and Shaq talking to each other at the Lakers practice facility, and I remembered that because it pissed off Kobe.
R.I.P. Kobe.
Yep.
Yeah, that year was the official end of the Kobe Shaq dynasty. Like they just that entire season was just painful to watch.
Yeah.
Final one. Who was the Stanley Cup champion in 2004? This was the year before the official lockout, and they lost the 2005 season.
The year after the Devils.
I'm not sure the Stanley Cup that year.
Yeah. Not the Blackhawks. Is it the Red Wings?
It's a good guess. The Red Wings were very good during this time, but no, it was not.
Is the Penguins?
Mm.
Was it the Penguins?
It was not the Penguins.
Mm.
It was the Tampa Bay Lightning in their very first appearance. Tampa Bay played Calgary, a series that could very well happen this year, and defeated them in 7 games. This Calgary team, by the way, this was the Jerome Iginla. Did I say that correctly? Yeah. Jerome Iginla. Sorry. This was the Jerome Iginla era of Calgary. It was the only appearance for him in the Stanley Cup Finals in his entire career. And unfortunately, they just could not overcome the Lightning. It was a really good series, by the way. It was back and forth, back and forth. They were up 3. Calgary was up 3-2 until Tampa Bay won in double overtime in Game 6, and then took Game 7. 2-1.
I wasn't gonna bring that up, Mike. The Lightning beat the Flyers.
Yep, there you go.
I wasn't gonna bring that up because it's fine.
Yeah. There, by the way, if you're curious, look at the penalty summary from Game 2 of that series. Nearly every single player on the oh no! Every single player on both teams essentially got penalized for a massive brawl that broke out. Chris Dingman of the Lightning had 4 separate penalties given to him, 2 misconducts and 2 roughing penalties in the same minute.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this was an ugly series. Unfortunately, it kind of broke hockey because we had the whole lockout the next year.
Yeah.
It's a weird series though, because Calgary hadn't really done much in the NHL since the 80s, and Tampa Bay had never done anything. And suddenly these two teams meet each other, and pretty damn good underrated series. Check out 2004 Stanley Cup Finals. Very good.
All right, so next we have 2 facts and a lie.
I hate
this.
This
is a part where I give you guys 3 things, and one of those is a lie about sports.
I hate this because I thought I figured it out a while ago, but turns out I didn't.
Yeah, no, you didn't. Nice try though. All right, so number 1, you got the home team must provide the referee with 36 footballs for each National Football League game.
Okay.
Number 2, London is the only city worldwide to host the Olympics 3 times. And number 3, the highest score ever recorded on a par 4 for PGA Tour is 13.
I'm leaning towards number 2 being the lie because I'm pretty sure that there's one. I'm pretty sure that Athens has hosted the Olympics more than 3 times. Because I know they hosted the first Olympics and they hosted a second one shortly afterwards.
I want to go with I want to lean number 2, but I really feel like number 3 is the lie.
Usually number 3 is the lie in this game, but Kylee has been getting better at Kylee, you've been getting better at confusing us. What could it be? It's I want to lean towards 2 because I know that I know that there have been other cities that have hosted the Olympics a ton of times. I know
Final
London's
answer.
I'm going to go with 2.
I'm going with
What are you going with?
3.
3? Calvin is right. It is number 3. The highest score ever recorded on a par 4 for the PGA Tour was 16, not 13.
Yeah.
So okay, wait a minute. I'm convinced Athens has hosted it 3 or 4 times. Wow. Okay, I must be.
When are you going to learn to stop doubting my facts?
Never. I will never stop doubting your facts.
All right, here is where you guys can make money on this show. Calvin, what you got on bets?
I'm going hits today. I like Ronald Acuna. I like Aaron Judge. I like Trey Turner, Mookie Betts.
Mookie's been going crazy.
I also
Yes.
like the Dodgers to win. Staying away from basketball. Oh, Tank Davis on Saturday. Gervonta Davis Saturday, the fight. Gervonta Davis to win in rounds 7 through 12. Great bet right there.
Okay.
$100 wins you $175 right now, I think.
Wow.
So
All right.
that's what I like right now.
That's insane. All right. Well, the final part and Isaac's favorite, Goober of the Week. Go ahead, Isaac.
So Goober of the Week is the segment of our show where we give out a little award. It's called our Goober of the Week to whoever this week just did something in sports that it just makes us go, God, what a bunch of goobers. We have a perennial Goober of the Week award, which we always give out to Rob Manfred because Rob Manfred. This week's Goober of the Week is the Florida Panthers franchise for eternal disappointment, pain, and suffering, and starving their fans of anything. And for also getting swept. Getting swept in their horrible power play performance. If you want to suggest Goobers of the Week, connect with us on our social media, on all of our social medias. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, which I just found out we're on Twitch today.
Yes, we are on Twitch.
We're on Twitch, apparently. TikTok and Twitter. And suggest like who was a big goober. Show us who the Goober of the Week should be.
Yes.
Yes. So congratulations to the Panthers. Second time they've been featured on Goober of the Week. They got featured on their, I think our second or third episode when Kodak Black, the rapper, was caught getting busy at the paper. Remember? Yeah, he was in one of the suites just going to town and right in front of everybody. So the Panthers are the first team / person not named Rob Manfred to be on Goober of the Week multiple times.
All right. Well, and on that note, that ends the podcast for this week. If you liked what you heard, we got some more stuff coming along, and would definitely like to thank all of our sponsors down below, behind us, and behind us on the screen.
Scrolling down below us.
Yes, thank you guys so much. You guys are all great. And one final time, use promo code OCS at bodycheckwellness.com for 20% off, 25% off your hemp-derived CBD oils and edibles for you and your furry friends at home. And
remember, you can also use the same promo code OCS at www.norsebeards.com for at checkout to get 25% off of Beardsman products for that luscious playoff beard. Let's see how this baby looks when the Lightning make the finals. Knock on wood.
Yes. Thank you to our sponsors. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Calvin, as always, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for coming on, Calvin.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys for having me always. You guys know that. Congratulations again. And shout out to you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you, my guy. We will see you guys next week.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who tuned in today. Be sure to follow us on all social media where you can interact with us. Thank you once again to the sponsors, and thank you to Old City Sports Network for giving us the chance to make this podcast big time. We will see you guys next week, same time, same channels. Peace.
Bye, guys.